Religion is mythology, right? It's our own mythology. And we should really look into the mythology that kind of guides our culture. And, I think in the age of consent and in the age of rape culture, it's really important to to understand that Jesus, the Immaculate Conception, that's a rape. That's a man putting a baby into a woman without her consent. And unless you believe, like, I mean, really, God did that shit, that baby came from somewhere. And I know this is somehow going to be like people are going to say I'm overreacting, but this is not actually an overreaction. This is a modern reading of the myths that guide our modern culture. I would argue that one of our big problems is that fucking 2,000-year-old mythology like hasn't been relevant in about 1,000 years, and that we might as well adopt Dune or Star Wars as our literal religion. It would be better serving us than the Bible. But consider for a moment the what's going on in this Immaculate Conception story. We're taking power away from the female and granting the power of life to some mythical sky daddy who's just implanting a pregnancy in a woman, and then that woman is simply just a vehicle for men to produce God, and they have no agency in it. They don't even get to fuck. It demonizes sex. It implies that, there's something dirty about the creation process, that like the man God would need to kind of be conceived by some pure woman whose vagina was never entered by a man, which kind of also flies in the face of the fact, wasn't she married? Didn't she have a husband? I mean, none of it makes any sense. And when you understand that it's all made up in stories, it's just Harry Potter from 2,000 years ago, we really have to begin to question what it's doing to our culture now. So, I think religion, Christianity is white supremacy, and it is rape culture, and that as long as that's our guiding mythology, we're going to be hurting, and it's not going to just go away. It's going to take replacing. I think a lot of these days about how like we're lost in all these cultural lies, and like maybe it's not like about telling the truth. Maybe it's about telling like less damaging lies that people can believe instead of the really damaging lies, since clearly the truth is just too boring for them or too scary or too something. I mean, we genuinely need new cultural stories. That this is not a joke. Like it's very easy to look at like the television and mass media culture as the fracturing of our cultural stories, and in turn the fracturing of our shared cultural experience. And that, a culture that has 100 different origin stories and mythologies coexisting at once isn't one culture, and cannot exist as one, and cannot function as a democracy as one. This stuff gets really, really, really interesting really fast. I mean, when you start to think about our problems governing ourselves, and where people are prescribing meaning. I was listening to David Fromm yesterday, who I hate, on Preparara, who he's okay, but it's all framing of all the framing is just surrendering the framing, and it's minimizing Trump and all this stuff. But like, um, he's talking about the kind of 1776, and he's not wrong that it's about meaning. It's about people that are searching for meaning and have been sold false meaning by charlatans and kind of profiteers. But it's totally understandable. I mean, it's like life is about meaning, and when you're taught that your meaning is about like returning to past glory, making America great again, that's a potent message for people that feel like their lives are being kind of marginalized and taken from them, and they're trained to believe that they're on top. Oh God, where did I start with this? I'm insufferable.